For most people, when they hear the name Mozart, they think of this man, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. But did you know that he's not the only musical talent to bear this name? And perhaps he's not the only Mozart that's worth knowing about. Please allow me a few minutes of your time for this episode of Forgotten Families, the story of the Mozarts. Before Wolfgang achieved his fame, his father, Leopold Mozart, was himself a musician in Salzburg, a city in modern-day Austria. The Prince Archbishop of Salzburg appointed Leopold as fourth violinist of the episcopal court. Eventually, he would be promoted to court composer and later vice-chapel master. In 1756, the same year that Wolfgang was born, he published a very well-received treatise on the fundamentals of violin playing. Or, as the book was called in German,
Versuch einer gründlichen Violinschule.
Under his father's tutelage, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart was able to grow into one of the most prolific virtuosos in history. Of course, I'm not saying this to undercut Wolfgang's own talent. He was famous for his ability to master various musical disciplines almost instantly. I'm simply pointing out that from a young age, he had access to a father who had noteworthy success as a composer, years of experience as a teacher, and powerful connections in the world of music, which is an opportunity that very few people are ever afforded. Now, there doesn't seem to be an awful lot of information available about Mozart's mother, Anna Maria Mozart, not to be confused with Maria Anna Mozart. We'll get to her in just a second. We do know that Mrs. Mozart married Leopold back in 1747, and they had 7 children together. Unfortunately, only 2 of them survived infancy. One of them, you know as Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. The other one? Well, let's get to it. Now you're also probably wondering, who is this Maria Anna Mozart? Of course not to be confused with Anna Maria Mozart. Well, let me tell you, Maria Anna Mozart was the older sister of this Mozart who you already know. She was actually a musician herself, and a really good one. From a young age, she went touring around Europe with her father and brother by her side. Even before becoming a teenager, she made a name for herself for her talent and precision on the piano. A real child prodigy. However, it wouldn't take long for her little brother to eclipse her in fame. But just why is Wolfgang so much more famous? I'm willing to bet that before watching this video, many of you probably weren't even aware of the fact that Mozart had a sister, much less one that was also a child prodigy musician. Well, there are actually a couple of reasons for this. First of all, Maria was, and this is true, a woman, and for that reason many people point to the fact that she likely wasn't afforded the same opportunities as Wolfgang. And while that is certainly true, there is another big reason why she isn't talked about as much as the other Mozart is. Okay, so the audio isn't going to be perfect on this, it's a different setup than usual, but I'm going to play you one of her pieces and then we'll listen to it together and hopefully you'll see what I mean. Yeah. If you didn't get that, basically what I'm saying is that we don't have any of Maria's original pieces. As a matter of fact, the only evidence that we have that Maria even wrote any original pieces is in letters that were written by Wolfgang. And that's probably why she isn't spoken about as much today, that is, because it's basically impossible to get people interested in a musician without any music. And considering that she was one of the most famous child prodigies in all of Europe, it's really sad to think of everything that we lost. Did you know that Mozart had children? Because I sure didn't, or at least I didn't before researching this video. Turns out, this dude had like 6 children, but unfortunately, he and his wife, Constance Weber Mozart, suffered the same fate as his father and mother before him. Only 2 of his children would survive infancy. A truly tragic reminder of just how high infant mortality was before modern medicine. The 2 children that survived were Carl Thomas Mozart, who ended up working as a lawyer in Italy, and Franz Xavier Wolfgang Mozart, who pursued a life of music like his father before him, though he did not achieve anywhere near his father's level of fame. If you're wondering about his wife Constance, she was a German soprano who married Wolfgang back in 1782. At the time, she was 20 and he was 26. Their marriage lasted for 9 years and was ended by Wolfgang's death in 1791. Similarly to how Asia Booth Clark played a huge role in preserving the memory of her brother John Wilkes Booth, which you would know if you saw my previous video where I talked about the family of the man who shot Abraham Lincoln, Constance Mozart is also partly responsible for the publication of many of Mozart's works after his death. I guess we have a lot to thank her for. Greetings, Fortress Dwellers. Thank you for watching my latest video. Real quick, forget about the stupid thing that idiot was about to say. I have news. In the time that it took me to edit this video, we just passed 100 subscribers. And that only took like, what, 3 years? This channel is never getting monetized. But anyway, I just want to say thank you so much to all of you guys who have been here with me, to the ones that were there from the beginning, to the people that just joined recently. Thank you so much, and hopefully we can get to 120 someday, 130, 200, dare I even say. Whatever the future has, can you guys just pretend I said something inspirational? I